Miss Williamson, how are you? Sorry about the camera angle. This is awful. Thanks for staying up with us, Miss Williamson. I appreciate it. All right. So I'm a former Republican. I'm a former Christian, and I'm extremely leery of the way that propaganda and ideology can be used to sway an electorate. You've called abortion a moral issue, which you again talked about tonight, which leaves out the fact that many times it's a medical necessity. You've called COVID vaccinations for children draconian. You've listed GMOs as a source of...
I didn't say anything like that ever.
Okay, I had the... do you want me to pull... I can pull up the quote. We can just skip that if you'd like.
That was before COVID was here, and it wasn't about the vaccines. It was about mandates. So, excuse me, sir, but what you just said...
Sure, sure. Everybody can look at that themselves then. Now, later in this video, she's going to accuse me of being slippery with the truth. And let's just say, like, let's look. Is this a slippery answer? Now, she cut me off here. I said childhood vaccination. She was talking about childhood vaccination mandates. She cut me off. That was coming. But since she already corrected it, I didn't finish the sentence, or I didn't finish the claim. She's right. She said childhood vaccination mandates. But what she's not addressing is that the claim was that she called them draconian. And she's already publicly apologized for this. So why is she upset with me right now? If I'm the slippery one, why is she upset with me for something she already apologized for? You've listed GMOs as a source of corruption in our food system, despite overwhelming scientific disagreement that they're safe. And you've mentioned antidepressants and the research into biological factors existing simply because of the industry. So
I didn't say it existed simply because of the industry. No, I didn't.
All right, now here's Miss Williamson again. She's choosing, again, I'm the slippery one, but what she's choosing to do is focus on the word simply, and she's not going to, in any way, shape, or form, address the fact that she is iffy on this stuff. Mental health experts say comments like these can increase stigma and make people less likely to seek treatment. You can look for yourself. She has a lot of really strange views on antidepressants. She blames Big Pharma for it. There's quote after quote after quote. This is just one of them. My question is this: as a leftist, it's not only important that we can articulate our plans, but that we can actually implement our plans. And build a coalition that'll help us do that. I've seen no evidence that you have either. The coalition, your support seems to be waning. What plans do you have going into 2024 and up to the election that would make us think that we can lean on you and that you could build a coalition and that you could get the things that you're talking about actually into place?
First of all, you say my support is waning since you seem so into facts, although you're pretty slippery with them. There is no factual...
Well, with all due respect, I fact-checked all of this before. So
let's let her respond real quick.
That's number one.
Well, I'm going to respond if I get called out.
I have already said, whether or not I have a House and a Senate that will go along with my plans is not just whether I do something, but whether you do something. Whoever the president is, the president will be able to effectuate his or her agenda to the extent to which, number one, Congress goes along. That's true of, whether it's Joe Biden having to work with Kristen Sinema and Senator Manchin. It's the same thing. And as I said before, this will have to do with whether or not the American people elect someone. I also would hope that because of my conversation with the American people, that their own, and one of the things that it must change is we must change. Who we are must change. We must begin to see civic engagement and political activism as simply part of a well-lived, meaningful life. So I always say, some politicians will say, send me to Washington and I will fight for you. And that's the old model, much like you're saying, do you have the coalition? I don't want to go to Washington and fight for you. I want to go to Washington and co-create with you. I want to go to Washington and deal with factors there that are no different than people have to deal with in state houses throughout this country, whether it has to do with Concord, New Hampshire, whether it has to do with Sacramento, California, whether it has to do with Austin, Texas, or wherever. So I want to do in Washington what I want to do, what I need all citizens to do if you care about your community and your state and your country. Many of the issues we're dealing with today have to do with ground zero being in these states, much like when we're talking about women's reproductive rights. That's the coalition I'm building. The coalition I'm building is with the American people, and it is the American people in partnership with me who will ultimately have the power to move this away from the corporatist direction.
Sure, but how would us being on your side like allow you to push legislation through, like to advance your agenda, right? Because that still goes through Congress.
Of course, and that, listen, we have, and that's as it should be. We don't have a king or a queen. The president does not have a magic wand. We don't want the president to have a magic wand. The president is one of three co-equal branches of government. Once again, and I've said this several times already, whether or not I will be able to effectuate certain aspects of my agenda will have to do with who's in the House and who's in the Senate. It will also, however, have to do with the pressure exerted by the American people. If I become president, that says to me the American people are in the mood for something new. They're in the mood for a difference. And I would hope that those who are attracted to my candidacy will not only work for my campaign, and I hope you will go to my site. I hope you will volunteer. I hope you will come to New Hampshire, canvass with us. I hope that you will make this happen with me. However, give equal attention to the people running for Congress in your district. Give equal attention if you're one of the 1/3 of states that have actual senatorial races in 2024. It's going to take more than any one election. It's going to take a real sort of evolutionary fervor. And I do believe, though, that as JFK said, those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable. We must move things in a direction of real change in this country. Positive change, a change in the direction of greater justice and greater democracy, or to be honest, I fear what's going to happen in this country.
Thank you. And honestly, thank you. Like, we don't get a lot of opportunities to talk to candidates. I think it's important sometimes to give the most pushback. I appreciate your willingness and your courage to walk onto a platform where you don't get to know what the questions are and take the questions. So I apologize that coming strong. We get one shot. And I think the people that at least are in my group, we want to hear the toughest questions we can possibly ask the candidates. I think you've done a good job tonight answering tough questions, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I accept your apology.
Wow. Yeah, thank you.
I might say so. Other people push back, but they push back with respect. Thank you for getting there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, RTP. Have a great night out.
Thank you.
So there you have it. That's how things ended with Miss Williamson and myself. I don't think she's a fan. Apparently it's disrespectful to bring up people's quotes. I thought Marianne Williamson handled this about as poorly as she possibly could. She interrupted the question to argue about semantics, and then at the end took like a parting shot at me. There you go, Marianne Williamson. Now, I am willing to bury the hatchet with Miss Williamson. I am. I'm going to extend the olive branch. You'll see behind me, I'm just offering. Let's run together, Miss Williamson. You and I, we can do this. RTP and Williamson for President 2024. I have these available on my shop. I'll have the link in the description, and the link is in my bio. Shout out to Whisper, and I'm gonna tag Whisper in this too. If you're a content creator and you want merch, I sent him a message during the live and said, hey, is there something we can do? Could we have this up tomorrow? It was done. He's made all my merchandise. He's somebody that you guys can trust. He's somebody you can work with. He can find you the best ways to get your merchandise out there. He can make quality designs. If you look at my RTP shops, I've got a ton of cool stuff. He made all the logos there. He did all the designs. So shout out to Whisper. If you're looking for somebody to make your merchandise, there it is. But Miss Williamson, the olive branch has been extended. Let's do it. 2024, me and you. I'll do the heavy lifting. You just show up with that tenacity, and maybe I'll take care of the policy.